Doug, could you please recap the athletic year for us today?
Ooh, that's a tough one, Webby. A lot of things happened this year. I think it was definitely a year of growth for Dragon Athletics. There were growing pains, and there were some successes that came from growth. I think two highlights of the past year that don't necessarily have to do with our teams is we got to host 2 conference championships. We hosted the NSIC conference cross-country meet for both the men and the women. And we got to host the swimming and diving meet and be the opening meet at the Holbert Aquatic Center over in West Fargo. So those are 2 things that definitely stuck out from a highlight standpoint. I think when I talk about the growing pains, the football season was a little bit of a growing pain. As we've gotten to a point where we're good, but how do you get to that next level? And it's a challenge to make that jump. And we took a step back. I'd like to go on a little bit further. I think we had a lot of young athletes also on our volleyball team and trying to grow there. And then you start to think about some of the individual accomplishments we had, and you're kind of like, wow, that really happened. When you think about Aaron Sullivan in swimming leaving as our all-time points leader. When you think about Josh Young in cross country being the first Division II All-American in cross country since 1968, that's mind-boggling in itself. You look at what Drew Sandus accomplished in her career and the back-to-back conference titles out of the women's basketball team. Tanner Kretschmann hitting that career assist record and the things he brought to our program. Then you look at a young man, Zach Scott, coming out of nowhere to go to the Nationals in wrestling. Those are all highlights, I think, from the year that we look at. Then you get into the spring, and the highlight of the spring, obviously, right now is Brian Huber winning the national championship in the long jump this past weekend out at Charlotte. You think about his jump, put him in the top 40 in the world. That's pretty amazing in itself. And then Josh Young came back and earned All-American status in the 1500. So those are some of the highlights that come out of the year.
What are some of those changes that you put in now you're starting to see some of the fruits of?
Well, I think as an athletic department, we're getting more and more effective with the resources that we have from a scholarship standpoint as our scholarship amounts eclipse the $1.2 million mark. And how do we better use those athletic scholarships to get not only student athletes that can compete at this level, but that really want to be Dragons. And so that's exciting. I think of a seed that we've definitely planted. I'm awfully excited about what Coach Kopitz is doing with our soccer program and seeing the continued growth there. Those are a couple of examples. I think as we see our continued investment in the weight room and strength and conditioning, as we got a bigger staff now, we're starting to see some of those impacts out there. The list is so long, Webby. You just can't name them all.
What does the future hold for Dragon Athletics?
Well, hopefully continued growth. You know, you got the growth pains. Sometimes I think we're still, we've just gotten up and started walking. Now we really got to figure out how to run. So when we look towards the future, I think of outside changes, inside changes. One thing I am excited about is our change in our Dragonfire Booster Club of trying to add more options as well as adding a season ticket option. I think that's a change that a lot of people will see. I think as we continue to look to improve how we are sharing what's going on in Dragon Athletics, I look at this past year and have a lot of pride. The Go team live streamed every single home event that we hosted. So you think about that. We hosted a cross-country meet, a track meet where we had 7 different cameras going. You look at what we've done at tennis. I think of trying to share and communicate what our athletic department is doing across a variety of platforms. We just need to continue growing on that because we want to be first. We want to finish first, not only in the standings, but in everything that we do. And in the places where we've had a lot of success, we want to continue to grow. In the places that we haven't quite hit that bar that we're looking for, we need to continue striving to reach it.
I'm going to ask you a fun question because you love asking it of student athletes. What does being a Dragon mean to Doug Peters?
Wow, that's a turnaround right there, Webby. So I think there's 2 parts answer to that question. So I think the first part is the Dragons are part of Minnesota State University Moorhead. And when I think about our defined core values of grit, heart, and humility, and that we're trying to transform the world by transforming lives, I think that really also describes what we're trying to do in Dragon Athletics. When I think about what it means to me, it means I get the chance to come to work every day and try and help student athletes make their dreams come true. They don't necessarily always know what their dreams are, but trying to help them accomplish everything that they can as an athlete while helping them start to understand and shape what they want to do for the rest of their lives. And so I think about the aspiring doctors, the aspiring television personalities, you name it, the aspiring accountants. We can go down the list. And seeing the progress our student athletes are making towards those goals, that's what being a Dragon means to me, is just helping people accomplish their dreams.